Okay, so now that a few days have gone by and I've gotten over my imposter syndrome over the last video I made, I've been itching to get back into the swing of making content, and kind of like my last casual Modern Warfare 2 video, this wasn't one I was planning or expecting to make whatsoever. It's a little bit unscripted, but playing the game today, a couple things happened where I don't want to say I exactly reached my breaking point with this game, but I came to a realization that I've wanted to talk about for a little while, and today was kind of what finally set me off. I'm getting exhausted with Call of Duty right now. And I know, I'm far from the only person who has said this as of recently, given the multitude of content creators who are similarly getting sick of the franchise's current state, but I really wanted to throw my hat in the ring as well because I'm getting tired. And I think this is part of why I've been feeling a little bit lost when it comes to the kind of content I make for my channel here. Speaking of which, I won't be having a face cam for this video like I have my previous review and editorial videos. I'm currently in the process of setting up some brand new equipment I've got for my next reviews on the channel. I'll talk more about that towards the end of the video after I talk about this. So I could go on and on about the many reasons why I felt so tired playing Modern Warfare 2, and just to preface, if you watched my previous content, it's pretty clear I do like the game. I love the campaign and co-op in this game. I really like the maps and guns, as well as the gun and camo progression, but it also hasn't been without its faults. I'm not going to go into all of them because Lord knows plenty of people, including myself, have talked enough about how bad the perk system is in the game, how awful the squad spawning system is, the overall lack of focus in the game right now, and just how obnoxious the skill-based matchmaking is. Like, I've even made my own jokes about this in my previous videos. Like, I've talked about this plenty. If you watch other Call of Duty content creators, they've talked about this plenty too. I'm not going to go super deep into this particular aspect of the game. But for me personally, there are a few big reasons as to why I'm getting tired of the game. The first, Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 have become victim to their own ambition. I mean, look at how much content is packed into the game right now. We have a single-player campaign, we have traditional spec ops, we have 3-player co-op raids, we have the core 6v6 multiplayer, we have ranked play, we have ground war and invasion, we finally have gunfight, we have Warzone 2's Battle Royale, we have Resurgence, we have DMZ, we have Plunder and Warzone ranked on the way. It's a lot. And that's the issue. You've probably seen videos talking about how Call of Duty has lost its focus, and I have too. A couple of them are part of what motivated me to finally make this video. Everything in the game's current state is just too segmented. There's a lot of content here, no doubt, but it's all radically different. The experience you get playing 6v6 multiplayer is totally different from what you get playing ground war or gunfight, and certainly different from Battle Royale. And this has admittedly been an issue since Modern Warfare 2019, but it's just at its worst with this game. At least in Modern Warfare 2019, we had 6v6, we had ground war, we had gunfight, and then we had Warzone. There were some experimental modes here and there, but for the most part, it was just focused on those things there and focusing on doing those things right. Well, as right as they could get, at least. This is all content I like and enjoy, and have certainly enjoyed in the past, but each experience in Modern Warfare 2 right now offers such a radically different tone from one another that it's totally jarring. And because focus is being put across all of these different modes and styles of gameplay, it's making the overall package really stale. There just isn't enough content for every one of these modes to keep things interesting. I mainly play core 6v6 multiplayer, and things are feeling especially stale right now. The game's almost 6 months old, and we've only gotten three brand new maps since launch. 2 of the maps I do like, but they're way too big for 6v6, and one map that might actually be one of my favorites in the game if it wasn't a night vision map. Which, on that note, yeah, night vision is finally in the game, and it only has a single map. So that's yet another totally different style and pace of gameplay that's been added to the game, and you only have one single map to play around on with it. I think it would have been much better received if this map had a day and night variant and we just got an entire night vision playlist like in the first game. But the sad thing is, infinityward isn't gonna listen to this, which brings me to the second big reason I'm getting tired of this game. infinityward does not listen to feedback at all. I know this is absolutely nothing new at this point, especially given how some of the current problems that Modern Warfare 2 has can be traced all the way back to the previous game, even all the way back to Ghost when you look at the issues of maps being too big. But I'm getting so sick of infinityward's commitment to making the game actively worse in any way it possibly can. So the one major thing I want to talk about here, and this is something I talked about a couple months ago on Twitter, and this was about the whole thing with the game involving sprint out speeds. So I'm sure you saw, but several weeks ago, players discovered through that weapon tuning you can make sprint to fire speeds much faster for guns, which is something players have been desperately giving feedback on for months now. And for a brief period of time, the game actually played much nicer than before. It was playing at a much faster pace, and it was, generally just speaking, a lot more fun to play the game. So what does infinityward do? Patch it out in less than 48 hours. Go figure.
I'm
Meanwhile, on the opposite end of the spectrum, it took them 6 months. 6 months for them to fix something as basic as the ghost perk not working as intended, and they didn't even tell us it was fixed. The only reason I found out this was fixed was thanks to other content creators testing the perk out and finding out, hey, it actually works how it's supposed to. Well, mostly. I'll get into that in a sec. And whether people realize it or not, I think this is the main reason people are leaving the game in droves right now and why so many fans and creators are just fed up. Because not only does infinityward not communicate with any of us on what's going on with their game, but they're actively pushing players away because of their commitment to what they want for the game and not their players. Now, this is a theory I've had for a while, but the past several months have kind of confirmed it for me at this point. But if I'm being totally real, I just don't think infinityward wants to make Call of Duty anymore. I mean, look at the lack of identity across the entire game right now, both Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. They're adding in elements no Call of Duty players ask for, like AI strongholds, pacing the game as slow as possible with the movement, creating these vast maps that are too big for core 6v6. Meanwhile, they still have to commit to Call of Duty's arcade-style pace. I don't think it takes a genius at this point to realize that they really want to make something they can call their own that isn't Call of Duty, but they're stuck to the brand, and as a result, the entire game's identity feels like a total mess. I mean, look at the issue with red dots on the minimap. They're still not in the game. They briefly had a toggle to activate them in custom games before they got patched out. And gun game, one of the party modes, has red dots on its minimap. Does the game want to commit to being a Call of Duty game or not? I don't think it does. And if that's the case, then fine. There's nothing wrong with infinityward wanting to go into a new direction and make a slower paced military shooter, but keep Call of Duty out of it. Now, if this has more to do with Activision forcing them to commit to Call of Duty, then I can't necessarily blame them, but this is it or isn't it mentality when it comes to the game's identity has to stop. And for Christ's sake, actually communicate with us. And I know this has nothing to do with Activision because this is something that Treyarch and Sledgehammer do perfectly fine. Which leads me to my third reason I'm making this video: the lack of communication. Look, say what you will about Vanguard, but at least Sledgehammer consistently communicated with its audience on that game and consistently fixed things based on player feedback across that game's entire lifespan. Same goes for blackopscoldwar, which, looking back in retrospective, I think I was way too harsh on. Even Raven Software, when they took over Warzone 1 and right now as they take over Warzone 2, communicates with us. Granted, it's not always good communication, but at least they're telling us stuff. infinityward gives us nothing on a consistent basis on what's going on with their game. They don't give us detailed patch notes. Sometimes there are shadow changes that nobody picks up on, and sometimes their patch notes are just straight up wrong. Again, the ghost perk. This was broken for 6 months and we heard nothing about it. Was infinityward just not aware this was an issue, or did they just not care? We had no idea until Season 3 started, and all of a sudden, the ghost perk was fixed. But even then, it's not totally fixed because there are still suppressors in the game that don't properly work like they're supposed to. And I keep coming back to this specific example with the ghost perk, but this is just one of many examples. Why is there no communication on issues like this? And don't point me towards things like their Trello board or the multitude of content creators that go on call with the devs and talk about their open feedback. I don't want to hear them communicate through these filters. I want to hear it from infinityward. I shouldn't have to see Charlie Intel or Modern Warzone tweet about how the devs are communicating feedback to them to know they're listening to feedback. I shouldn't have to go to Exclusive Ace's channel to get detailed stats on weapon and patch notes. And I shouldn't have to check something as obscure as a Trello board to follow problems that they're aware of. Tell me directly what you're working on. Again, every other main Call of Duty dev can communicate with us just fine on this front. So what's infinityward's excuse? That finally leads to the question, well, why now? What was it specifically that caused me to finally crack and make this video? So for the past several weeks, I've mainly been playing the game using the intervention. It's pretty much exclusively what I've been using while I've been playing the game. I got the Orion camera on it the first day or two it was out and have been playing around with it non-stop ever since. I was having some fun with it and was excited to see what kind of stats I had for it, only to find out that the game had not been properly tracking any of my stats since Season 3 launched. I have a whole week's worth of games that were just not registered whatsoever. At one point, my stats showed that I only had about 100 kills total on the intervention, even though me getting Orion says otherwise. And then, as of loosely writing this script for this video, it has not tracked any of my new stats on the Squall rifle. Look at this. I was playing Modern Warfare 2 almost all day when I took this screenshot here. And during this period of time, I was not only using the intervention even more than I was before, but I also unlocked the gold camo on the Cronin Squall. and yet it shows up nowhere in my stats except for my most recent games. How is it that this is reportedly one of the smoothest dev cycles a Call of Duty game has had, and yet 6 months into the game's lifespan, it still cannot properly track your stats? This was a non-issue in every other game before this, including the last Modern Warfare. On top of that, I decided to burn some time and grind out the intervention some more. I've only done a small handful of the mastery challenges for the camos in this game, and they've all been exclusively gold ones. So I decided to finish all of them for the intervention specifically and get its special weapon charm. Sounds simple enough, right? I mean, that's basically, what, about 1,000 kills total across all of those challenges, 100 for gold, 200 for platinum, 300 for polyatomic, and 400 for Orion. Sounds simple enough, right? Here's the problem. The intervention's mastery challenges don't track for the intervention. They track for the Tempest Torrent, a completely different weapon in a completely different category, where I haven't even unlocked gold for this weapon yet. And I know this issue is specific to the intervention because this is the only gun in the whole game I finished any platinum mastery challenge for. Look, I'm not a game dev, so I can't act like I know how bugs like this get through the cracks, but this is such an oddly specific bug to the game that I feel has no reason being bugged like this. It's just an emblem, calling card, and a charm. And if so, and if there is a reason for it being bugs like this, I can't imagine it's that hard a task to just fix the challenges so they track for the proper weapon and you unlock the proper content for that weapon. And that's why I reached my breaking point, because here I was trying to get great stats for this gun and make some sizable progress on it, only to find out that not only have I been wasting my time the past couple of weeks, but that history with infinityward has told me that this time is going to stay completely wasted. Because let's be real, they're not going to patch this anytime soon. And if or when they do, it'll have taken much longer to patch than it has any right to. And because infinityward didn't even bother giving us proper stats for either game until well after they launch, I doubt my stats from the past couple of weeks are actually going to come back and count towards my player records. Why would they fix that when they've taken longer to fix higher priority issues like the fucking ghost perk? There's plenty more I could get into, like how DMZ is effectively dead now that there are pay-to-win bundles for it in the shop, but I don't want to go on longer than I need to. This is just a quick rant I wanted to get out there because I'm getting exhausted with this game, and I know plenty of other fans and players who are too. Does this mean I'm going to stop Modern Warfare 2 content altogether? Probably not. In fact, I do actually have a video idea on it I plan on doing soon that'll hopefully breathe some life into the game for me. But as for the montage-esque videos I've been making before, I think this last Modern Warfare 2 video I made is going to be my swan song, at least for now. I already planned on this for a while because I've been rethinking what to do with this channel next. To be totally honest, making these kind of videos is becoming more and more difficult, and I have to hold on making more anyways until I can get a PC that can handle editing videos like that. But after what happened today and after making this rant video, I think it's just, that's kind of cemented at this point. Like, at least for now, those kind of videos are done for the channel. But on that note, that's all I wanted to say. I don't know if I'm going to make more casual editorial videos like this moving forward, but if you want to see more videos like this, leave a like and let me know in the comments below. My next videos are going to be more in-depth video reviews on other topics. I've been working on reviews on the Uncharted movie and The Last of Us show for a long time now, and I've been anxious to finally get started on making them. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm currently in the process of setting up some new equipment for that video so that I can have a proper face cam setup, complete with a green screen and soundproofing and everything. So if you like what you watch here and you're interested in that, then consider subscribing to the channel. I'm still brainstorming an exact direction on what to do next with this channel beyond those next reviews and maybe a few other gaming videos here and there. Like I said, there is one idea for Modern Warfare 2 I have been sitting on recently that I really do want to make. But in the meantime, look forward to those reviews. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.